Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one Eastern Kentucky animal shelter is looking for animal abusers who caused the death of one dog. And one library in the region is doing its part to preserve history after the 100-year flood of 2022.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
It is here and you're here. It's Friday. Thanks for joining us. Jim Freeman along at 6 o'clock on the dot. Meteorologist Tim Drawbridge has some hot weather details to share. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, everyone. And we're looking at some areas of fog early this morning as you make your way out of Hazard to Harlan over into the Cumberland Valley. It is 61 right now outside our door here in Hazard. Visibility of 4 miles Harlan, just under 2 at Williamsburg. And again, we'll continue to see this across our southern counties this morning. Notice that I emphasize our southern counties because we've got some action going on across our northern counties where it's in the mid-60s from Ashland to Moorhead along 64 at 64 both locations. It's also 64 degrees as you make your way toward Middlesboro, right there on the state line heading into Tennessee. The pinpoint Doppler radar, we head northbound toward the Ohio River and again from Moorhead to Maysville up into southern portions of Ohio and extending back toward Powell County, at least just knocking on the door. There's a couple of showers your way. And again, we'll see a couple of showers from Stanton over to West Liberty, perhaps at Paintsville, as this continues a weekend tracking toward Ashland. So a shower is possible, maybe a little light rain across our northern counties this morning. For the rest of us later this afternoon, the risk of a shower or thunder shower popping up and a forecast high today in Hazard approaching 90. The weekend forecast, a little down and a springboard up when it comes to temperature. Details with the First Alert 7-day forecast in this half hour. Jim?
Tim, thank you. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of the flood that devastated parts of eastern Kentucky. WYMT's Amelia Lee shares what the Perry County Public Library plans to do in the months to come to honor that day in a positive way.
Some call it the 100-year flood, which left community members with the aftermath of the devastating natural disaster.
Out in the county, they're just multiple homes that were destroyed and, land gone.
After nearly 2 years of rebuilding the communities impacted, Perry County Public Library staffers are recognizing the flood with pictures.
It's about preserving the future, but also remembering the work that we've done so far and how far we've come.
Deaton says flooding caused damage to the floorboards here at the Perry County Public Library. That's why the library staff hopes to include pictures of that damage as well as so much more in eastern Kentucky.
We're just wanting to catalog that and just capture those images so future generations will know what that was, like.
As of Thursday, they have 50 photos along with some video.
I've seen air rescues and houses floating down the river. It's very heart-wrenching.
If you're not sure which pictures to submit, they say they're accepting a variety.
I think it's really just anybody that was impacted. Maybe it was somebody who drove and saw the devastation.
Eversole and Deaton both say their hope is for these photos to be a part of history and a reminder of the mountain people's resilience.
I think capturing these photos now for the future and for our current generation will be worth it.
Documenting history for generations to come. In Perry County, Amelia Lee, WYMT Mountain News.
Thank you. Thank you, Amelia. You can submit your photos by emailing them to the library or dropping them off at the genealogy department. The remembrance will take place on July 27th with a candlelight vigil and a moment of silence. The 8th Perry County Fair kicked off yesterday with people in the community coming together at the Perry County Park to enjoy the vendors and performers from the Perry County area. Also at the fair is a mini petting zoo where folks can hang out with camels, goats, and a cow, and a variety of other animals. Event organizers say they want people to remember the benefits of get out and stopping by the fair.
I know it's hot. It's hot today. But you know what? There's people giving away free bottled waters. You can go jump in that swimming pool. Your kids can slide down those inflatable water slides. You can go over here and all these vendors are selling ice creams and good cold lemonade. There's all kinds of shade in the shelters and stuff. There are ways to cool down. So people need to know and they need to get out here and take advantage of this.
The fair will be back this afternoon starting at 4 o'clock and will last until 10 o'clock tonight. The fair runs through Saturday night. Schools across the Commonwealth are adjusting to new suicide prevention regulations put forth by the state that focus on bringing mental health resources to younger students. At the beginning of each year, students from 6th through 12th grade are given a mental health screening. Now, those who receive high scores are frequently seen by school psychologists. With the new changes, those screenings and services will now be given to students as young as 4th grade, which school psychologists say may save lives in the long run.
The way I've always practiced is that it's under the pretense that it's easier to build a strong child than fix a broken adult. I think it's critically important for the mental health needs of school-age children to be provided early on. That way they kind of have a strong foundation psychologically as they grow and change and develop, later in life.
Schools will also provide 2 suicide prevention trainings for students per year in hopes of ending the stigma that surrounds mental health care. Workers at the Floyd County Animal Shelter are hoping for help from the public after 2 pups were seemingly dumped on a hill behind the shelter. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from the managers of the shelter who say what happened next should place whoever left them behind bars. We do want to warn you that some of the images may be considered graphic.
Well, there's still a pack here.
After a pile of meat was dumped on the Floyd County Animal Shelter's property last week, workers realized something had been eating the spoiled food.
And he ran straight to where that little dirt path is and was just barking at us.
Which is how they found a pit bull they have now named Ludwig.
You could tell that something was really bothering him, and he just kept barking at us and walking towards us and then running. So me and Lexi said, well, let's just look around.
I know, but I can't get him right now. I will come get him, I promise.
Ludwig was leading the workers to his friend, another pit bull, which shelter workers named Nakusha.
They tied him into a place where they wanted us to never find him.
The second dog was dead, having hanged on the rope that was used to tie him to a tree.
We both stood there for a couple minutes just in complete shock, seeing him and just the condition he was in. I mean, it was one of the most horrific sights I have ever seen.
Both workers say Ludwig was determined to find help for his friend, breaking their hearts since they knew it was too late.
The dogs were so bonded. Ludwig refused to leave his friend. I had to physically put him on a leash and carry him away as he was nuzzling his dead friend's body.
Now Ludwig is getting the help, love, and care he needs. But the shelter is working with local authorities to find whoever left him and Nakusha to die on the trail.
That dog bashed his face up, or maybe he was already bashed up before they tied him up. Maybe they beat him. We don't know. There's claw marks in the tree to where he tried his best to just be able to breathe, just to live a little bit longer.
But without camera footage or substantial proof, they need the public's help to find answers, hoping someone will come forward with the information to make sure those involved are held accountable.
We just want to make sure that those animals in the future are taken care of, and that's all we're here for, is just to try to battle the abuse for animals in Floyd County, because it is absolutely horrific.
Saying no more dogs deserve to die. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Thank you, Buddy. Donations poured in to help fund Ludwig's veterinary bills, and an anonymous donor paid to have Nakusha cremated. A small urn will be attached to Ludwig's collar so he can take his friend with him into his new forever home, which he's already found.
Waking up to some visibility issues across our southern counties this morning. You leave Hazard to Harlan, where the visibility now is 4 miles. Buck, that's it. As you make your way back toward Wayne and Whitley counties of Williamsburg, and temperature-wise, we're all in the 60s. Louisville, though, is at 71, kind of a sign of things to come as we head for the afternoon. Upper 50s as you make your way toward Clintonwood and Grundy, crossing the state line. All right, to the north we go. The Jackson radar is off, so we have to pick up the radar coming out of southern Ohio to see this weakening complex of showers and a couple of rumbles of thunder tracking the western portions of Rowan County. This is going to scoot just north of Stanton this morning and get in toward West Liberty as we make our way through this 6 o'clock hour. For the rest of us, the fog will burn off to a nice amount of sunshine today, and we keep that going late this afternoon to this evening. The risk of a shower or thunder shower will be popping up after about 4 or 5 o'clock until about maybe 9 or 10. And the forecast high today in Hazard up close to 90. More about the First Alert 7-day forecast and how hot we get over the next 7 days. That's all coming up in a few moments. Jim?
Tim, thank you. Thanks for joining us for Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. And just ahead, we'll take a look at damage in Florida as extreme weather conditions continue there.